So today I will be talking about strategic improvising with AI. And basically, it's storytelling. And storytelling is very important, as Martin pointed out to us yesterday. Now, of course, if I'm talking about improvising, it's also about exploring. So when you think about exploring, you think to boldly go. Boldly not go. Boldly something. To boldly go where up. So, anyone for the rest of the sentence? Some people have gone before. I mean, it's AI, it's been around there for a couple of decades. But of course, November 2022, we took over the internet and people started trying out, what is this thing? And does it work? But although it's like boldly, it's not really boldly. We still have a goal. We have a purpose to venture out, whether it's meeting new societies or new universes, or in this case, because it's AI, to have a different goal. But what is this goal? To go out and explore AI. So I went to my personal Yoda, and I asked him, please tell me, what is this all about, this exploring of AI? He's right. We always have the right answers. And so because it's about learning, you need a little bit of context. So here a little bit of context. I work for InnoEnergy. So what is InnoEnergy? It's a European project that brings together master students from across 15 technical, mostly technical universities, and some business universities. And it's specifically master students who want to learn about sustainable and renewable energy. So it's SDGs. Ooh, yes. It was set up in a time that SDGs were not popular at all. But now it's getting traction. And because we are scattered across a couple of countries, we have these challenges, of course, going on. But we managed to actually start to create more of traction on green energy and specifically clean tech. And as we do this, interestingly, the students started to want to set up startups because, of course, they got interested by the business universities. And as they started to move towards their startups, they came with business proposals and said, okay, this looks nice. We will invest a little bit in your startup. And they became more successful. This is not going to be a promotion. It's please, because we all do this. I know that we all do this. But so the startups grew. And we invested some more. We had some money from EU funding, and so we supported them, and they grew more and more. And now we have 5 unicorns. So we're having this problem. We always invested with asking a little bit of equity because we thought it was a good idea. But now we're at the stage that we need new money because of the new students that are coming. So our organization, although it's an educational organization, was embracing business ideas as well. And so all of a sudden, and this is really true, we're moving towards venture capital investment for early stage clean tech companies. I'm still adjusting. And so you can imagine, if you have this organization that says, okay, there's a flow going on towards innovation in clean tech. Let's go forward, let's try it out, and let's grow even more because our students can make an impact on the world. Brilliant. As November 2022 came, a couple of us, enthusiastic, positive people, went to the powers that be in our universities, in InnoEnergy, and said, this is the time to start trying out and embedding AI. This is the moment. And so, of course, because they are so into innovation, they said, this is the story of my educational technologist life. So by now, I know what no means. You probably know this now. No means no problem. Yes. Because you get the no because you're in a specific space. This one. You're just before the big wave. You're surfing and it's exciting. You will drop multiple times, but you're before the rest of them. So, okay, that's a good spot to be in. However, we know working in technology gives you positive people, us, and some rather dystopian people as well. That's always been the case. We heard that from the other speakers in the conference as well. People that say, technology will make us dumb, and radio is disastrous for learners, and television will kill the babies, and thought processes. No problem. We need the other voices. It can't be all utopians or optimists. So, no problem. So we went to the powers that be. We hear all the media coverage. What is left for us to do if we want to explore AI? Go undercover. We do this. I know you. You know what skunk works is. You know what undercover work is. Stealth mode. And you try out AI. Each one on our own. We just say, yeah, of course we can't use AI in our university. This is what we do. So I asked all the teachers from the different universities, what have you been doing? Some of them were using AI avatars, and this, like an example, starting from a picture, using an AI tool to make it come to life, using my own voice, which with hindsight was a good idea, but I used my own voice to train Resemble AI to reproduce my Flemish English, and I typed in a text for a course. And voila, there was me giving like I wouldn't call it a lecture, but a little piece of information for a course. It saves time. You don't have to go to the studio. Does it have the same quality? No. Does my avatar move the way I move? Definitely not. She just sits and so you can see the difference. Now, another AI project was from a teacher at KU Leuven in Belgium. And he set up a data science summer school. And he uses Kaggle and he uses them and he teaches the students to make smart buildings even smarter, even more efficient. So it's positive use, right? Then there was also an AI tool, I was in that one, from 2018, using natural language processing. So that was like the pre-LLM, LLMs, large language models. I'm bad with acronyms. And so we used it to screen job skills from resumes and match them to job vacancies and see whether who was the right fix or to link to a job vacancy. Worked pretty well. And then, of course, you have the indirect teachers who are critical, and rightfully so, about AI and saying, yeah, but if our students use AI, they need to understand that if they promote or build certain technology, that there's an aspect of ethics inside of it as well, and specifically ethics in AI. So they made a role-playing game. Well, in this case, it was Marta Aguilar from UPC in Barcelona. And it's free, so if you look at the slides and you click on it and you can see it. And it's an online and face-to-face role-playing game. Nice one, too. And then, of course, you have the AI presence inside of the startup. So you can imagine, as I was asking everybody, what are you doing? Clearly, they are using it. And it was time to bring all that knowledge together because everybody was doing it at their own place, at their own location. We didn't know it from each other. Now, every year we have a teacher conference, like we all have. And so we set aside half a day for a workshop where we will bring everybody together, share their experiences, what they've been doing, and everything. So this clearly was the stage of improvising, testing and growing, but now it is time to strategize. So we asked the teachers, what is your priority need for AI? Definitely diminishing or decreasing the workload, right? Administration, who here loves report writing? Please. No, of course not. It's tedious, but we must do it. Another need was using it for research, because that brings in the money, so that's quite important. And then, of course, teaching and learning with AI. So we asked an expert, in this case Stella Lee, to come in and to share her expertise, but not just sharing expertise, we wanted to deliver something practical. And so we came up with the AI Teacher Toolkit. The toolkit used to be able to last like for 2 years, let's say. In this case, it's a terrible thing to do with AI because it's constantly changing, but nevertheless, the toolkit is still useful because what it did was curate the emerging tools for those specific areas, reporting, research, teaching and learning. It's freely available, so you can have a look at it as well. And this was clearly the start of some strategy, but now we needed to make everybody understand where we were at as teachers. So Stella Lee said, look, why not make an AI literacy framework and try and level out everybody, and then we can see whether we need courses, whether we need approaches or guidelines. And with that being said, Leonie, are you here? Stella, wait! Leonie actually does research in this area. I heard her talk yesterday. It's like great presentation, great research. So I wanted to shout out because that's also a little bit of improvising, right? And I love the things I saw yesterday. Now, as you heard, it's not only we don't only work with teachers. We have administration, we have some business people now, we have business development salespeople now, so we have all sorts of people in the organization. And we want everybody to be involved or at least aware of what AI can do, because we are in innovation. Now, we wanted to start slowly, so we knew teachers, something for teachers. Teachers, although we are very critical of each other, like for our own work, we are actually the biggest early adopter group. We must be, because our sector always changes, and we do this, we pick it up. We might not want to pick up every innovation out there, but we are constantly adapting. That's what we do. So I really love teachers. But the other people in our organization weren't that into tinkering and observing AI. They said, well, let's just wait and see. So we started to roll out like a workshop for groups. And the first group was the educational admin. And we said, look, there's Copilot. And so just try it out, because Copilot was fully integrated in Microsoft 365, and we all need to use it. I say need to use it, yes. And people did use Copilot, but they didn't always get the results they wanted to. Well, they still don't. But it was about learning how to prompt. So we gave a workshop on prompting. And we also started to communicate what failed, what worked, and share it so that others would pick it up. We were spreading our wings. And then the education director came up with a brilliant, what I consider a brilliant idea. We have master students, and they're into innovation and AI, to a certain, well, some of them, not all of them. And so we said, why not use the interns, and if they want to work in a specific area that is also in our own organization, let's give them like AI tasks and show that way to the rest of the group, of the administration, of the staff, how it can be beneficial. These are the actual projects that they are working on. So, let me, which one do you want me to say something about?
Building.
Building? Building custom GPTs for education. Good one. So, you know that there's a lot of, if you use AI, and if you use, let's say, any Gen AI tool, and you start to ask it questions, it takes energy, right? And sometimes it comes up with wrong answers, and we want to increase the quality of the results. One way to do it is to use custom GPTs, so that the return, what is a custom GPT? It's actually like a meta prompt. It's a prompt that you can use and that you direct towards a specific sector or a specific set of information. Now, there are 3 students who are actually working on this and go one step further. So each of our institutes has like masses of master theses, right? We also have them. It's not that massive with us. But we do have around 2,000 master theses by now, because we have 3,000 alumni. And 1,000 of them, so the most recent ones, are all in like a data storage center. And so we said, if there's anything we can do with a sort of chatbot that is just looking at the master thesis, the results for renewable and sustainable energy projects will be much more accurate. These students went on and they worked on it, and they found that if you use RAG, or retrieval augmentation generation, you can even reduce the amount of energy needed to come up with the right results. Because you don't want to use a custom GPT or a prompt that always goes through 1,000 master theses. That will take so much energy, and it will cost so much that it's not worth the effort. And it's also a negative impact, very negative impact on the climate. But so these students worked on this for 1 year, and now it's in testing phase, so it's not prototype, it's really in testing phase. And if you're interested, I can give you access, because I think it's still open in the testing phase. Of course, it's sustainable energy and renewable energy, but you can get a grasp of how efficient and accurate the returns are in this. And it's safe, because it's in our folder. I'm shouting out to Alison, privacy is important. So we do all of this, and then we communicate to the rest of our company, because remember, we still know from the powers that be. But as we are slightly moving forward in massaging the message and the opportunity, we're getting close to it. It's not blinking, but we're getting close. And so, together with 4 other people, we're hoping that by mid-June, our executive board will say, yes, this is nice, you can move forward. So, interesting fingers there. Because I was so sure that this will make a difference, I said, look, I come from education, educational technologist, but I want to have a part in this AI department. And they said, sure, yeah. And they were a little bit too happy with this. So I'm still rooting for a complete yes there, otherwise I'm without a job. So I'm just telling you in case you want someone and this falls through. So to use AI or not, I think it's important to test it. Even if after testing you say, we don't want to use it because of different reasons, no problem, but at least we know why, and it's an informed decision. And I feel that because AI is changing so rapidly and so frequently, it's important to find the right strategy to be able to evolve with this constant flux of new technologies and new tools. And so I'm really in favor of strategic improvisation. And just for you to know, this term, strategic improvisation, is actually coming from the Grateful Dead. So, how cool is that? It didn't work for them. So, okay, how cool. Right. Now it's time for a little breather. Perfect! Wow, that's good, huh? So, Gavin also told me, look, it's good if you share the story about your AI roll-up, but there is something you cannot avoid. That's assessment with AI. Amy, what do you think? Can you handle that in front of a critical audience? Yes, of course, Gavin. So, second part will be shorter. Everybody still awake?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So, what makes a good assessment? Teachers make a good assessment. Well, it's not what a teacher is. Yeah, I know, but I'm Flemish. Teachers have the capacity to know what is important in content, how it can be aligned with really good assessments, but not only that, they also know where the stepping stone is to the next level. And that's something that AI doesn't know, because we know after this first year, they go to the second year, and the core knowledge they really must know is this bit of knowledge. So teachers are really good with this. So should we use AI? Well, sometimes I think at least there's an opportunity. I'll be critical at a certain point, but I will start positive. Yes, of course you can use AI as a teacher for assessments. You can use assessments coming from a combined course creation, like Course Factory, like Knowledge AI. Anybody using Course Factory or Knowledge AI or course building tools? Yes? Yes? Wait, look at those two people in the back. They're using it. Talk to them. That will be great. And so you can just say, I have a 5 ECTS course. It will run for 6 weeks. I want you to align it with different diverse assignments, and then it will come up with like a structure. Is it the best structure? Not necessarily, but at least you have a starting point. Another thing you can do as a teacher is use grading tools. Now, they're getting better. It's like an evolving phase, but you can use them to grade papers or essays and something like that. It will become critical, as I said, a little bit later. But it's good to try, because it's kind of amazing what it can do already. Now, Francis, are you here? Here. Francis, wait, quickly. Yes, Francis, great, Gasta, yes. How great are you? But Francis is students using AI, because not every student is really that eager. Sometimes they think, yeah, but what if it's considered fraud? Then I don't want to use generative AI. But what if the others get better grades? And that is exactly what Francis showed us yesterday. So, but nevertheless, we can allow them to use AI, but we need to guide them, of course, and be very transparent about it. You cannot use it for this bit of content. It's like core content, and you need to know it in your brain. You don't want to say to a surgeon, yeah, well, go ahead, cut out my liver and transplant it to something else. No, they really want to know their business there, right? But you can also say, oh, use assistive AI. Use, which surgeons do, use a little bit of tutors or chatbots or try and test Grammarly to keep your text, which is very, very useful for me. Yes, I use it. And then, of course, you have the AI assignments that are completely embedded and into AI, like using AI for smart buildings or creating Python coding for businesses and everything. Then, of course, you can use it because it's part of it. Interestingly, Annette Peterson from Denmark said, okay, we're using AI for assessment, but it's mostly individuals. And what we need to do is really move it towards group learning, because that's where the additional layer of consciousness and of deep learning is located. And she's right. It's always been right. The only thing is, it takes more effort from a teacher, because you know if you need to guide the group, oh, it's pleasant if it works. But if they're like slagging or they have like discussions that are pulling them apart, it's kind of difficult. But nevertheless, it gives you a good balance between AI and humans. So it's something to consider. But now, so going into your head, you say, yeah, Inge, nice talk on assessments and how to use them and group learning, but it takes time. I don't have the time, so I want you to give us some practical examples. You're right there. Here we are. AIpedagogy.org. They actually have different sets of AI embedding in assessments. Now, shout out to Alison. 2 days ago at dinner, she said, what I like to do with students is get them through close reading the terms of service. It's an actual assignment, and a good one, because you realize what are the boundaries of using that AI tool. So it's just really nice to go and look through. Now, I heard this talk yesterday. Garnet, wave. So, everybody is on about plagiarism, or is it okay if you use AI in a paper, and what do you do with it, and how do you know that they really learn? Because, like my personal Yoda said, it's all about the learning. If they don't learn, where comes Garnet yesterday? We have this idea, we're still trying to launch it, but it's growing, it's getting traction, and we use just that. So if students load up their master thesis, for example, once they load it up, they get some questions on the process. It has a second factor as well. If it's written in the same voice, in the same timbre as the rest of the things papers that the student writes in, it's probably going to be written by them. Then, shout out to Jane yesterday at dinner. She said, now that's brilliant for another reason. If your timbre or voice is okay, so you can use your own voice, that means we don't necessarily need to be like high academic British type of authors. We can be our own author, and it's all about the message and the content. That's an additional nice one. So this, but test it before you believe it. Another shout out. Ken and Sharon from EdTutor. Waving. Yes. Yes. Brilliant. They even have a checklist on how students should use generative AI. They have courses on it, and you can go and have a look. It's quite amazing. We don't have that in Belgium. So I work in this team of European Council on ethics and in AI guidelines. And everybody said, yes, I will search for a university in each of our countries, and then we will come up with the guidelines they have, and nice. And so I went to all our Belgian universities and asked them. And I went to the government and asked them, do you have checklists or guidelines or anything like that? We don't have this. It's like listening to crickets in the evening. So, yeah, EdTutor is there. Amazing. This is where I get slightly critical. Because, yes, there are always two voices in my head. Although I'm a glass half full person, the other one seeps in and says, are you sure about this? You're believing fairy tales here once again. Okay. But I say, if you use AI for assessments, it's personalized, it's more diversified, you can do a lot of things with it, and it will increase the AI literacy at least. Yes, but the drawbacks. It creates an additional digital divide, and there are already so many digital divides, so it increases it once more. It is threatening the quality, because how do we know that it is really at a point where we want our students to be? Now, how do we know that it's biased? There were some tricks and examples, but Melissa Moore, just last week, came up with an interesting blog post. She did some research using grading tools, AI grading tools. And so she put in this. It's not brilliantly written, but it's meant to be, of course, filled with grammatical errors and writing mistakes. But you see two similar paragraphs. The only difference between the two paragraphs is one word. In one, it says rap music, and the other, it's classical music. And actually, whether it's rap music or classical music doesn't make a difference at all. It doesn't make a difference for the context. But if they fed it through the grading tools, each time the one with rap music would get a lesser grade. And not just like 100%. No. It was a significant lesser grade. So yeah, the bias still persists. So you must be careful. Luckily, our back is covered by some activists. This is where, from Martin, I use the feminist principle. I am a feminist myself. Not always that good, but I am. So, Timothy Gedru was the one who said, yeah, but AI is actually really racist, and we must make sure that no marginalized groups are affected even more by using AI. So she set up a distributed AI research center to really research all these projects. And why am I mentioning her? Well, she's brilliant, that's one reason. The other reason is also we are universities. We are capable of adding the second voice, the different voice. Then I will take it a little bit further. So I was really positive. There are some tricky parts. If you look at 2023, they saw, with not using AI tools, but using manual qualitative verbal analysis, they saw that 1% was definitely, of the papers, was definitely written with Gen AI. They used specific words that were normally not that frequently used and compared them to OpenAI words that were frequently used by AI, so they could match what the frequency was. A really bad explanation, but if you click on the picture, you will get the correct research information. That's interesting. So it's increasingly being used anywhere. So we can't permit ourselves not to engage with it because we really need to understand how it works. Another thing, that's a use, well, it's only come out, the BBC article was like a week ago, I think. And it said, due to Google, now Google is very big tech. Due to Google's updates, all of a sudden, local content creators lost clicks. Now, we are all, in a way, local content creators. So with one switch in algorithms, all of a sudden, people didn't visit their specific website that much anymore. But that means that those high-quality content creators weren't really referenced properly, were they? And that's scary. And I don't know if you saw it last week. So Google added like an answering machine bit to their search engine. Did you see it? Yes? So you type in an open question and you ask it, what is the best way to visit, what are the hotspots in Ireland? And it will come up with an answer generated from a gazillion other answers given by real people, but it merges it all together. And so what don't you do? You don't go and visit the ones who really know what they're talking about. You're just relying on the answering machine. This is scary. So, how do we work with this? Luckily, there are, again, people watching over us. This is Christian Stocker, he works for the EU Council, so the shadow cabinet of the EU AI Act. Who has read the EU AI Act fully? I bow for thee. This is like this. It's like reading Ulysses. Yeah, great. Oh, it's out. So, what Christian does is actually, he made 10 guidelines for using AI, and not the difficult ones. No, just 10 guidelines that you can print and hang on your wall. And every time you're like doubting and think, what should I do with this? You just move, read the guidelines, take a breather and say, thank you, Christian. Now, nearing the end of my talk, sharing some resources, timeline of AI, it's being updated each time a big change happens, and it's really useful. Some repositories to see whether the AI tools are out there for, let's say, architectural combinations in. You can see I'm not an architect. Anyone here with architectural background? What would be a good tool? How could I forget?
I've forgotten.
And it's amazing how many different backgrounds EdTech people have. It's really amazing. I talked to Alice this morning. Alice, where are you? Yeah, the front row. She said, yeah, I worked for the BBC for years. I was a director. Oh, come on. We all have so many, and I was a secretary. A bad one. That's why I had to change. And so, keeping informed is quite a challenge. Now, I share this. You will probably have your own newsletters or your curated content. This is the most interesting one here is student volunteers curating the AI news. That's like a brilliant idea to have. So, in conclusion, I think improvising is still very useful. And I think strategic improvising will allow us all to get this AI department going. And I think it's very important. It's also a new opportunity to really understand where we might be going, because the future, you know, we're on this wave. We don't know where we're going. We might just land on the beach very hard. That's okay. We might just fall in the water and just do a swim. But that's okay, that's better. But I think it is very important that we try it out and that we share, especially share, each of our failures and successes. Because if we enter into a conversation, I truly believe it will make us stronger, and we are all interested in humans. We support students, we support adult learning. So we really are engaged with humans. So I think this is the way to go. So thank you very much.